Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into the two variations for each 10-star event against the SHANKS 10-star KIZUNA clash. Starting it off with Strength, we're going to be using the Otama team, and then we're going to be using the No Otama team and making our way through the variations. So that was the team, those are the supports. Let's dive into Otama and Zoro versus the Strength 10-star. Now, against this particular variation, Zoro is an absolute demon, mainly because he can get around the damage limiter. He has that ability with his Enma state where he can double that ability. Now, I didn't get a chance to actually clip the actual ability proccing because there's a little bit of an annoyance on this particular fight where on stage 2, there is a barrier for either a tandem or a Wano slot. Now, you can remove this barrier, but look, Zoro's that good because he gives 2 turns of a buff. That doesn't really matter all that much, that you can just sort of kill it over 2 turns, and that's exactly what I do here. But if there is a Wano or barrier, not a tandem or barrier, you can actually go into the Enma state, easily take it down in 1 turn, and just do a nice smooth kill all in 1 turn. But Odin and Toki, they are so good for this particular stage because they can actually remove the barrier with a Wano or a tandem orb. Now, I have a bunch of supports to get around the attack down. We're using stuff like Pedro, unfortunately, K-Dad, and Tashiki on our Zoro, so that way we get around all 6 or 5 turns, but we got 6 turns of attack down with that. With that, we have an orb buff from Odin and Toki, an attack boost from Carrot Wanda, and even with that, we only just managed to kill on this particular stage, which is actually a little bit concerning, because Otama's only boosting Powerhouse and free spirit units, so you just need to be mindful of how you do your taps and where and what units are actually hitting. Obviously, Odin and Toki and Zoro, they're the ones that are going to be doing most of the damage, so you can sort of just back-end it around that. But this team actually does work very, very nicely with a Zoro friend captain as well. On the final stage, there's Threshold and Block Orbs. You can get yourself a full bottle Wano Orbs with the what's his name? With the Toki the Hiyori special, whether you use that on turn 2 or on the final stage. There's also Despair, which she can get around on the final stage if you need to, but Odin and Toki can actually get around it as well, so you're just in a really good spot there. You have a conditional boost with Otama as the friend captain, and well, actually, sorry, you want to use Zoro's conditional boost, so make sure to use him before using the super class of, or the super type of Otama, so that way you get the 2 turns of it for the second turn when you go into the sheath form. You can tap with all those Wano orbs just so that way you get access to that. So that way on the second turn you're hitting very hard because you're not going to have the color affinity buff from Odin and Toki. You're not going to have the resistance that they're giving as well. Plus you're not going to have the big orb boost from Carrot Wanda. However, on the second turn, if you guys aren't in Enma and you don't just kill in 1 turn, that is, you can use Carrot Wanda again if you have the Limit Break expanded because they have the ability to use their special again. Plus, you get the Super Tandem of Zoro with this team, so you can do a lot of damage here. Otama is already increasing the Super Tandem of Zoro anyway, so like if your Zoro's at level 1 or level 3 or whatever, you can actually still do some pretty fun stuff there. You can also use Dendro on this team, I believe, as too, if you want to an extra unit that works for Threshold. But you can use a no Otama team that is actually led by Uta and Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo. Now, if you guys are really, really struggling to find Otama friend captains and you just want to play your assists and do the actual content, you can actually use Uta and a shooter team, so that way you can just barrier pen your way through and you can actually do some really, really cool stuff with the attack and orb buff over 3 turns thanks to Uta's amazing song ability. It just works exceptionally well. It's incredibly strong, and she is a fantastic, fantastic legend that hopefully a lot of people picked up as well. So we are just going to kill all the mob units on turn 1 with our normal taps. It's going to work very, very nicely, and then we can move on to stage 2. Now, on stage 2, there is that barrier, but a lot of the units that we have here actually have barrier pen. Plus, we're going to get a lot of buffs because we're going to use the Uta special, the super class of Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo. We're going to use the chain lock of Boa and the base stats to remove the attack down, and then we can use the super swap of Ace and Sabo purely to just give us a full board of orbs if you guys are struggling for orbs. And with that, we just have a bunch of barrier pen with all of our units here, so that way we can actually just easily kill. Now, the mob enemies around the outside, they are just going to run away. So be mindful of that, and just as you can see, we are hitting with the shooters that are doing most of the damage there. The mobs, they just run away, so don't stress if you don't kill them all. They will attack first, but look, the damage is so minuscule that you don't have to worry about it. You just really have to focus on taking out Yasop. He has a lot of HP, but if you do take him out, you are going to be in for a very, very good time. Plus, like you guys saw, like we had so much damage, it really wasn't a problem. On the final stage against Shanks, he gives us Despair. It's going to go up to 7 turns, which is really, really annoying. He also has that damage and limiter, which is very annoying. So if you aren't using Zoro, you are going to have to burst 2 turns. Kind of like what you saw when we used Zoro, but for this team, it's not a problem because Uta's going to give it an attack and orb buff for the next 2 turns. We're going to have 3 turns of Chain Boundary with Ben Beckman Lucky Roo. We have a 2-turn Color Affinity boost as well with Sanji and Pudding. I actually just stuff up the order. I accidentally switch with a Sabo before using the Sanji Pudding special. But make sure you use the Sanji Pudding special first, and that way you get the 2-turn Color Affinity boost to Cerebral characters, being your top 2 units hitting disgustingly hard. Sop, they're hitting fairly hard as well. Nothing too crazy, but they're doing really, really nice stuff with the resistance they give from their super swap. And then on the second turn, you're not going to be doing as much damage, but with the 2-turn buffs that Uta provides, that Ben Beckman Lucky Roo provide, as well as what Sanji Pudding is providing, you can easily get around it there. Sanji Pudding can also remove the threshold. That's pretty much the reason they're here. Starting as Pudding, they get cooldowns, and it all works out pretty hunky-dory for the old Uta team. So very nice stuff, getting it done. Without an Otama friend captain, and using a very old style quick team that's still very, very powerful. So very nice stuff. Let's move on to the next variation, which is against the Tricolor. And against the Tricolor, we're using Gear 5 with Otama. Now Gear 5 is just exceptional for this particular fight. The 6-star especially is, he's just so damn good at getting around the defensive effects, the special reverse, and the bind on some variations as well. He works great for like 1-team versus alls. Even if you aren't using his special does get cucked by Intimidation for this particular KIZUNA, but he's just still so good with what he's doing in every other regard that he's just still like a must bring. This particular team, it's a little bit more accessible, or it's a little bit more buildable than some other comparing it to the second team that you guys are going to see. But against Lucky Roo on stage 2, you can get around the hunger with your Ace and Yamato, and then you can use the Ace Yamato super swap to give a conditional and get a chain boundary. With Zoro, you can remove the burn, plus you can actually you can get an orb buff. Now, ideally, I would use the Brook support on Zoro. If you guys don't have enough HP to tank that, you definitely want to have some sort of damage reduction effect, because it's 100k and it does go down with damage reduction effects, but still, it is a little bit of a problem. There is bind on the final stage, which Luffy takes care of. There's damage reduction, which again, Luffy takes care of. And there's an intimidation for an orb buff, as I mentioned. There's also immunity to delay, defense down, and poison, but Otama doesn't care. She goes through all of that. So you can use her first. And then we have Odin on this team, because Odin's a 2-turn orb booster. He works exceptionally well, and that's all fun and hunky-dory. But ideally with this team, I would swap your Sanji and Odin's position. So that way Otama is going to... Or use your Otama special now when Sanji becomes captain. So that way you can give a Wano orb to Sanji. That'll activate the Sanji Rush. With this particular team, Otama is the one that is doing the most damage, so you don't actually want to use the Gear 5 Rush. You actually just want to tap with Otama last, and you can actually use the Rush of Sanji here to give a nice, chunky 2x attack rush to Otama, being a Dex Free Spirit unit. So that works out great. You have an attack boost with Ace Yamato, you have Color Affinity with Gear 5, and then Otama is increasing the orb buff of Odin as well as her unconditional. So that works out really, really nicely. And then Luffy's just doing Luffy things. So, like I said, if you have that Wano orb on the rush of Sanji, just tap with Sanji first, and you are going to do a lot more damage with Otama at the back end. So that way you can just easily take out level 31 plus and get a lot of ticket gains alongside your runs. So, beautiful. Let's move on to the No Otama team now. Now, these multicolor stages are so good for Gear 5 6+, and the hybrid combination of Gear 5 6-star and 6+ is absolutely demonic. Now, ideally, if you have 6-star, you run a 6+, so that way you bring a level 5 rush. But if you have a level 5 rush, you can just use the level 5 Rush as your captain. However, I am using the Beppo support to give myself a Tandem Orb so I can access the Zoro Super Tandem ability. This team is going to do so much damage, plus it has so much room for supports. I even stuffed this run up, and it still does so much freaking damage. Ideally, you want to use the Ace Yamato special on stage 2, so that way you can get enough damage to actually kill. But I actually used the Gear 5 6 plus special, which was a little bit of a stuff up on my behalf. But nevertheless, you do need a bit of damage to take out Lucky Roo here. He's going to burn you and give you hunger, but once again, Ace Yamato get around the hunger. That works out quite nicely. But we're not going to do anything about the burn. It's a 30k burn, which is a lot, and will actually kill you. But if you use the Ace Yamato Super Swap and then use the... well, actually, you don't want to use the Ace Yamato Super Swap and Special, or you either want to start as Ace, switch into Yamato, and go from there, because you still need one of every type. But if you do that and start as Ace, switch into Yamato, you'll get the conditional boost, and you'll get the chain boundary and the attack boost, and you'll easily be able to take out Lucky Roo on this particular stage. You do want to hit a couple of perfects. As you guys see there, I hit 2 perfects. We then take the damage from Lucky Roo, and then the burn will also kick in and just kill us. When we die, Gear 5 is actually going to revive, and then we can move into the final stage with full HP once again. That way we don't have to worry about getting rid of the burn, and it all works out really, really nice. You can replace Ace Yamato with something else if you want. As long as it has hunger, and as long as it's a strength unit, it should fit the bill. On the final stage against Shanks, he gives us blind and damage reduction, which Gear 5 6-star doesn't care about. There is that intimidation for the orb boost, which does cuck him just a little bit, but it's not too detrimental, because we have Robin and Nami. They are a 2-turn orb booster for Dex and Int characters. Once again, we have Sanji for the chain shenanigans. You could use like another Dex unit or another Int unit, like that is going to give you like chain boundary and whatever. But look, Sanji, he just fits the bill so well. And look, Zoro, he's an amazing attack booster on top of being an incredible conditional booster, because there is immunity to defense down, delay, and poison, but no increased damage or full immunity, which means we can use the Super EX of our friend captain, or the 6+, and that way we get the 2 times extra damage taken, and we get that massive conditional boost from Zoro. We're going to get color affinity from our Gear 5. We have Super EXs out the wazoo. And with having one of every single color on the team means that the Gear 5 Rush is going to be doing big old rainbow damage. And with that, we have the Tandem Orb of Luffy. We get the Super Tandem with Zoro. And this team's going to do some really, really nice stuff. Unfortunately, I can't show you the damage because we're super early on. What was going on there? Why didn't I get... Oh, wait, because who did I tap with then? Did I tap with my friend captain, or did I tap with... Yeah, I think I tapped with my Luffy, that's why. But look, it is what it is. So finally, we have the Int variation with the Gear 5 once again, and a friend captain Otama. Gear 5, he's just so good. Like, he's so good for this fight. If you guys have Momo, you can easily run Momo as well, and that's another option for you guys. But getting around the threshold, I think is why we're using Gear 5 here. There is Special Reverse too, which he's really, really good for as captain. But there's also going to be Despair later. I did take into consideration with Garp on this team. So like I said, you can use Momo as captain if you want to. Momo's going to work great. And that way you can replace Yamato as well, and that way you don't have to worry about the resilience. But you'll see that in the second part of this particular part of the video. Against Ben Beckman, he does a 80% HP cut and gives you 2 times recovery bind. So this is where Treasure Map Chopper goes absolutely ballistic. He just gives you a full heal, removes the recovery bind with his limit break abilities, and then use Yamato to actually get around the resilience. Now, I believe I actually missed my final perfect here. I was thinking like, damn, I'm going to be like really cutting it close for damage here. So, I best be very, very careful. Ideally, what I would recommend is probably use the Super EX of your Gear 5 on this particular stage. That way you can just guarantee yourself a little bit more damage. But as you guys will see here, I actually missed with Otama. Otama should actually kill there. But obviously investments are going to be a little bit different across other people's accounts. Nevertheless, it actually didn't matter because you get a recovery down. And that was literally it. I thought you were going to get pain or something else. I don't know. But it was literally just a recovery down. We had the Yamato carryover ability for the extra damage taken. So if you have to take 2 turns here because you don't have the same investments as me, there you go. Like, it's going to be absolutely fine. On the final stage against Shanks, he has the Intimidation against Attack, Up, Orb, Buffs, and Base Stat Boost. You get the special reverse, and like I said, you get Despair, but Garp can give you 2 turns of special reverse, and he gives you a 2-turn attack boost, so that way you don't have to worry about the Intimidation. Lore is actually going to be a 2-turn orb booster, so again, you don't have to worry about the Intimidation. You have a conditional boost with Otama. You increase the orb boost that Lore provides with Otama and her conditional boost, and then Luffy's going to be color affinity. Plus, Luffy's Rush is going to go crazy here. You can also use his Super EX here, so that way you get Psi Orbs being a 3 times multiplier. And like I said, this is another situation where you're not going to see the amount of damage purely because I'm in a position where like we just do too much with a single hit. But at the end of the day, this team, as you guys will be able to see, is going to go absolutely crazy. It's going to do a lot of damage, and you will be absolutely fine if you are using it moving forward. It also gives you a lot of tickets. But if you want to go like nutso with damage, and you don't really care about tickets, and you just really want to see some big numbers later down the line, if you can obviously find a fight later down the line that is going to be in a position of massive KIZUNA levels, you can use something like this. Now, this is going to work very, very nicely, as the double Gear 5 situation is just crazy. And they're completely interchangeable for this team too, by the way. If you don't have 6-star, but you have 6+, you can just flip them around, and it just works absolutely fine. Like, it's basically free if you are running both of them. They both remove Special Reverse and Despair. The combination of the two is it's absolutely elite. Once again, we're using Chopper to take down Stage 2 against Ben Beckman, but this time we have Momo. Momo's going to be our attack booster as well as end of turn damage, so that way we can get through this Ben Beckman stage nice and easy. You love to see when you can use an attack booster as well as getting around resilience, which is super nice. As you guys will see here, it's a nice easy kill, and we have the 4-turn of attack boost. The end of turn damage of Momo is going to kill, and then we can move on to the final stage. Now against Shanks, he does do the special reverse, and I believe he has the Intimidation. With this team, we are using Momo for attack boost, Shanks for an orb boost, using a chain boost with Nami. We are going to lose the base stats, but at the end of the day, she's here for her super tandem as well. Again, just fun damage things. And then we have the Zoro support on Shanks, because he's going to set defense to 0. And then that way you can actually get access to a conditional boost as well, which Nami will increase with her super tandem, which is a lot of fun. You can just like verse Yamato or some other unit there if you really want to as well, but I just like trying to build out monocolor teams when it comes to this type of content because it works very, very nicely. Gear 5 is going to be a color affinity booster. You have the Psi Orbs at a 3 times multiplier, and then you can use your 6+ Gear 5 to increase the attack boost that Momo is providing as well, which is a lot of fun. So with that, that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me. Most importantly, whether you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.